Hello. Good Thursday to everyone. As we begin our healing yoga practice today, I will start seated in a chair, but please, I invite you to see it on your mat or in a chair, however you're most comfortable. We will begin with our breath once again, going inward. When we talk about the yin or the yang as related to Chinese medicine, the yin is the inward, the cool, the dark, the feminine, the winter, the season that we are getting ready to go into. And then we have the yang, which is the opposite, the outward, expansive, the heat, the masculine, the summertime. So again, talking about yin and going inward, more contraction postures as we just kind of go into our little shells or inward. As we grow older, it's a lot more challenging to do our contraction postures like our squats and such. So it's really important that we do practice those even in a modified form, whether it be lying on your back and drawing your knees into your chest, or if you practice from the standing position and coming down into that high, middle, or low. I encourage everybody to practice that, whether they're holding on to a chair, counter, or wall, what have you. So I just wanted to give that brief explanation. So we begin breathing in through the nose and out the mouth. It's about drawing in fresh oxygen and fully exhaling anything that is no longer serving us, any tension. And do think about drawing that inward. Remember, life happens between an inhale and an exhale. Let's continue with that breathing pattern while we do our wake up with the pads of the fingers or the notched fingers and thumb. Find your collarbones. Move down an inch and maybe outward about an inch. Begin to tap, thump, or massage. Breathing in the nose, out the mouth. Remember, this is the on button for the body or the entire meridian system. Energy needs to move and wants to move, and forward is one of the directions it wants to move. Shake off the hands. Move to your thymus, sternum, right at the chest there, like that shot of vitamin C. Great thing to do daily, several times if you think of it. Shake it off. Move to your side seams, spleen points, very important, especially this time of year. Metabolizing and digesting. It's also part of our immune system along with that triple warmer system. So we're just moving any stuck or stagnant lymph. Breathing in through the nose and out the mouth. Shake off the hands and then come to the cheekbones. Grounding earth energy associated with our stomach meridian that begins right here at the cheekbones. Very calming. If you find yourself needing to calm, maybe tap here or sweep across the forehead and behind the ears. Breath in the nose, out the mouth. Shake off the hands. Pause here. 3 breaths to integrate the 4 thumps. And let's begin either seated or standing, that homolateral or same side march. Dust off the hands and then cross it over. Breathe in the nose, out the mouth. This is another direction energy wants to move, that crossover. Bringing your energy back to 100%. You may need to go through this cross crawl 2 to 3 times, but you'll notice a big difference if you do. If you're feeling extra tired, go ahead and do it 2 to 3 times, and you might repeat that for several days in a row just to get that into your memory for the crossover pattern. Now let's hover our hands over the pubic bone, set an intention, say an affirmation. Zip those words up the central line and sweep that out into your field. 2 more. Last time. And then let's hook up. Middle finger and belly button, the other between the brows. Up. Breath in the nose, out the mouth. And there's your wake up, standing in mountain pose. Just checking my volume here, making sure it's turned all the way up. Okay. So now let's kind of clear the energy that might be stuck within our bodies. Heaven connecting earth. Feet maybe together or even just about 6 inches apart. Soften our knees. Hands on our thighs as we slide them up the midline. Bring them to heart center. Come into a high chair. Maybe just a little soft knee. Make sure your knees are not past the toes, but going over the ankles. And move up into that side or lateral stretch. Come back down. Other side. Of course, this can be done from the chair or even the mat. But I encourage you to do this standing if that's available to you. We'll do one more round. Hands back to heart center. Draw up and open to heaven, rushing in. Either releasing what we need to release or asking for what we may need at this time. It works both ways. Deep breaths here. And then we'll weave. Remember, the Celtic weave binds all of our energy fields together and helps protect our personal energetic field, just making it a stronger field for keeping out negative energy, sickness, negative things. I guess I just said that, but think of when you're hearing something that you really don't want to hear, or you're seeing something. Many times you'll automatically do this. So it's kind of an innate thing. We just don't always think of it that way. Let's do one more and come into a forward fold. And then rise up to half lift, that flat back, Head, neck, and spine are in alignment. And then sink a little more deeply. You can soften the knees just as much as you need to. Avoid dumping it in the low back. If that anything back there, anywhere ever hurts, come out of what you're doing and just stay in that place where it's not hurting. We never want to do anything to bring harm to our body, so always listen to your body. Weaving our way up, we're going to do 2 more of those folds. Soft knees. Hinge. Half lift, shoulders back and down. Sink in. Weave or trace spleen meridian. Remember spleen meridian, whole hand over arch side, big toe. Trace along there, behind ankle bone, inseams of your pants or legs. Come out a little wider. The torso, along the breasts, almost to shoulders, and back down. Give those a buzz. Shake it out. One more time. Sweep and weave. Forward fold. Half lift. Sink in. Trace spleen or weave the arms up. Your choice. And back down. Shake that off. Now, either seated on our chair or seated on our mats. Or standing. We'll do what's the schoolyard hookup or the Wayne Cook. So this is the crossover. If standing, I like to just place one foot a little lateral or outward. Cross the opposite foot over. This helps us to balance. We can also do it seated. Cross one ankle over. The opposite hand goes on the ankle. Same side hand as the leg is crossed goes over the foot. So whichever way, we take 3 to 5 breaths there. And the hands here, backs of the hands, cross over. And then work those under. So again, 3 to 5 breaths. Either one of those works fine, and you can do this on your mats as well. This helps unscramble our energies, find our words. It clears our space. Unwind. Switch the cross. Switch the cross here. 3 breaths. If seated on the chair, other side. 3 to 5 breaths. And then shake that off. Just clearing our energy fields. If you have an opportunity to get out this nice day, get some of that vitamin D from the sun, I strongly encourage you to do so. Might be one of the last nicer days we have this December, but again, great day to get outside. Let's stand at the top of our mats here. Breathing in, weave the arms. And just come into a half, like a 90-degree fold. Weave back up. Sweep the hands to heart center. And let's step left foot back. Doesn't matter, left or right. I'm starting with my left. Looks different on the screen. So we spin that rear heel in a little bit. Right knee is tracking over the ankle. Gazing forward. draw the arms up, pulling down from the heavenlies anything we may need for ourselves right now. Drawing that into our heart center. Pull down 3 to 4 times. Place it in your heart center. Create the arrow with the arms. Rear foot, maybe heel toe back to widen your stance. And pull back to open into your warrior two posture. Again, that knee is over the ankle. You can have a shorter stance or wider stance. Whatever feels right for your body. Gaze over this front middle finger and soften your shoulders. Of course, this can be done here on a chair as well. Breathe. Turn that front palm up and reverse. Standing, you might take that hand for a half bind around if that feels good or is available. And then return to your warrior two. Slowly begin to lengthen through that lead leg without blocking that out. Now, if you have a blanket, a bolster, or a block, maybe a block, it's not necessary and you don't have to come all the way down. Just giving you some options. We're going to come into our triangle. Drop this front hand down. Slide along that inseam. And about midway between the ankle and the knee on the inside, this point is contraindicated for pregnancy. But that is a junction, spleen, liver, kidney meridians, or the silk point. And it's typically pretty sore. So if you're rubbing that, feels sore, you got the right spot. Give that a little massage. Perhaps lift this arm skyward if that feels right, or simply rest the hand on the hip, or let it fall behind again for that half bind. As we're breathing, getting the breath in the nose, out the mouth, or in the nose and out the nose. Slowly make your way back up. Again, remember, once we're over, if our head is below our heart, we want to be mindful to come up slowly so we don't get dizzy. Arms forward. Now we're going to windmill. Step that rear foot in. From the chair, we simply come this way. And then bring the hand down to the inside. Reach that arm up. That's from our chair. From here, maybe bring the hand down. Start with this hand on the hip. Go into your revolved position, or your twist, if you will. And you have the option of raising this up. We don't even have to be down this far. There are other things with a little bit more height that we can use. But twists are very good for our body. It's kind of like wringing out the organs, getting rid of the old, creating space for fresh blood to flow. And we'll come down, hands at either side of that front foot. Maybe you're here, maybe from the chair, or here. Into a sort of pyramid. So we're all gonna look a little different here. Just want to give you all different options. Let's step that rear foot in just a little bit. Draw back through the tailbone. draw forward with the crown of the head. So a big stretch in through our spine. Breathe here. And slowly come up. Reach the arms overhead. Bend the elbows. Lift the heart center. And then bring the hands forward. And let's move to the other side. So this time, the opposite leg, or my right, is back this time. So I'm going to soften this front knee. Again, take as wide or as narrow a stance as is comfortable for you. Draw the arms overhead. Pulling down on those heavenly handles. Drawing in whatever you may need. At this time, place it in your heart center. And let's draw the hands up, behind the head, and create the arrow here. Rear foot, heel, toes back to widen your stance. And we'll open here. Warrior two. Again, this can be done seated on your chair. Turn that front palm up and reverse. Option to half bind. And again. Get a really good stretch on this chair as well. Returning to our warrior two. And then begin to lengthen that lead leg. Maybe step that rear foot in a little bit. And kind of turn our hips forward once again. Come into that triangle. So we slowly reach forward. Maybe having that block, blanket, or bolster handy. Coming down. And if you choose, finding that silk point, unless contraindicated. Pregnancy. So that's about halfway between the knee and the ankle. Again, just massaging around with the thumb, you're sure to find it because it's a sore spot, and it's typically sore most of the time because it's a very busy junction. Massaging helps to kind of clear out any congestion. Top arm can raise, come behind for that half bind. You might begin to lengthen a little bit more through that lead leg. Slowly come up. Arms come out to a T. Maybe step that rear foot in a little bit. Bring the toes more forward facing. And windmill, we're going to go into revolving or twisting triangle. Maybe place a hand down here, or perhaps place hand or forearm just above that opposite knee. Come into that twist. Maybe add that arm, but you probably want something to hold on to. There'd be a chair, a wall, or what you have available. On the chair, this is a nice twist. A lot of action. as you feel ready, taking that to your expression of a pyramid. Hands at either side, the front. Maybe it's like this. Maybe it looks like this. Breathing deeply in the nose, out the mouth. And let's take a gentle back bend here. Turn to center. Heel toe the feet in, or simply step in. So with both feet grounded, lift the toes and give them a wiggle. Notice the big toe mound, the pinky toe, outer ball of the foot, the heel, making contact. And then just release the toes. And very gently, just not even an inch, not even an eighth of an inch, move back and forth, finding your middle ground. Balance is not a static thing. It's something we're always working toward, but we never really stay completely in it. However, the more we balance, the more we work toward it, the more quickly we are able to come close to our balance. Hopefully that makes sense. So once you kind of move back and forth, both feet, watch my heels and my hands. As I inhale, just lifting the heels, really push down through the balls of the feet, lift the arms, pause at the top if you're able, and slowly lower, hands and heels. A simultaneous thing. It's a lot harder than it seems. It's a good challenge. So we'll do that 3 more times. Lift the heels, lift the arms. If it's too much to lift the shoulders up, just take that goalpost and then lower. Next one's a little brain gym challenge. Lifting up. Right arm stays to a T, left arm comes overhead. And slowly lower both arms. Last time. Inhale, heels lift, hands lift. Left arm stays at that shoulder height. Right arm raises, pause. Slowly lower down. Shake out the hands, shake out the feet. We'll make our way down to the floor, or if you choose the chair, that's fine as well. Grab a quick drink. So again, the expansion as we age is easier than the contraction, typically. So I'm going to give you your option on how you want to make it down to your chair. Of course, the chair would be easy enough to sit like this, but this is somewhat of a squat, if you will. Seated, knees are about 90 degrees. We want to take that a little bit lower. Hopefully the knees don't come past the toes. Even if we have to take the hands down here, that's okay. If you have knee issues, let's just lie on our backs on the mat and draw your knees into your chest. So you can be here, bend and lengthen, bend and lengthen. You can also hold on to this chair and do the same thing, bend and lengthen. Breathing all the while. when you've had just about enough of that, let's come down. However your expression of squat is, if you have a blanket, I have this little bolster here that's really good for supporting my heels in this squat pose. This way, I'm not putting added pressure on the feet, on the ankles, on the knees. Most of us can't get our heels all the way down, and that's fine. It does take time, practice, and our bodies are all just different, so don't judge on what somebody else can do. Work on you. It's an inside job. Life is an inside job. Just remember that. So as we come forward, come on to our hands and knees. Move that bolster off to the side. And let's do cat-cow from hands and knees. From the chair, we can do the same thing. Seated cat-cow. Breath in the nose, out the nose or the mouth. Now, for those of you with knee issues, child's pose might be kind of tough. So just remember, you can come into this puppy pose where the bum is kind of lifted, but the knees aren't bent all the way. So we can be here. Let's take about 3 breaths, and then we'll create a little flow from this. Next inhale, slide the hands up, begin to weave. This is child's weaving heaven. So we weave the arms. As we hinge, weave down, maybe slide out just half a breath, and we weave our way back up. We'll do that 2 more times. Deeply breathing and weaving. Coming up, last time. Forward here. Now let's walk our elbows out, briskly rub the palms together, preparing for our being with head heel. This is a good one for going inward. And remember, palming is calming. So I'll create some heat with the hands. Place the heel of the hand on the cheeks, cover the eyes. And just arrange your elbows however it's most comfortable to support your head. Remember, most tension comes in through the eyes, about 80%. So by covering the eyes, it goes a long way toward calming the entire body. Release slowly as you're ready. Slide up and we'll drop one hip to the side. Bringing the legs forward. You can also sit in the chair and have your legs outstretched. And we'll take a little wider angle seated forward fold. So just parting the legs maybe a little bit wider than mat width. Let's draw our toes into our shins and then point, flex, and then point. Once again, flex, and then circle them 3 times one direction, and then switch the direction, and then let them relax. Sweep the arms out wide. Now you may need, if you have a little tighter hamstrings, you may need to soften your knees or bring a little blanket, edge of a blanket beneath the sit bones to give you that forward tilt. So we'll weave our arms, hinge here, walking the hands out. This is a contraction pose. Ines, little forward fold action. Also known as flexion here. Slowly drop the chin. Coming up here. Bringing the legs together. And let's come on to our back sides. Knees bent to start. And then let's bring the knees into our chest. If seated on a chair, you can hinge forward. Just bring your thighs closer to your torso. So here is the other expression of a squat pose. If you have knee issues or it's unavailable any other way to come into squat, this is a good replacement for that. So as we're here, let's breathe in through the nose. Exhale with that whoo sound, blowing out the candle as we come up and come back down. Take another inhale. As we come up, blow out that candle. And release down. One more time. Inhale. As we exhale, lift up. Release down. Release the feet down with the knees bent. Take the arms wide to a T. And the feet can be about hip width apart, maybe even wider if that's more comfortable. Let the knees release to one side. Windshield wipers. And back center. And to the other side. And we can place our hands back behind the chair to do this from the chair. Just another option there. And one last time. Noticing any difference from one side to the next. Just kind of making a mental note of that. Maybe seeing if I don't pay a little bit more attention to the one side. Most of us are one or the other side dominant, so it's always good to work both sides equally. Once again, draw our knees to the chest. And just give yourselves a little back massage if that feels good. Rolling circles and then reverse. Just be a little playful with ourselves. And then we'll prepare to go into our bridge pose. So soles of the feet are anchored, knees above the ankles, arms by our sides. As we inhale, option to lift up arms. This is an option only. You can keep the arms along your sides. Otherwise, on the inhale, overhead, lift the hips, not jamming the hips up, just lifting them a couple inches and coming back down. Want to draw that belly button in and up as we lift, keeping the abdominals engaged to protect the low back. Overhead and down. We'll do 2 more times. Lift and lower. Keeping the knees squeezed together. A lot of times you can place a block or something between the knees to give us that work on our inner thighs, our ADD adductors. And come back down. This next time, let's just lift the hips. And if you have low back issues, keep the glutes engaged. Or if that hurts even like that, then you'll want to come out of this. Otherwise, let's work between engaging and releasing our glutes. As you know, we always default to these bigger glute muscles to help protect or work us when we're working in this pose, but we want to increase the strength of these supporting bones along the spine. So that's why we release the glutes and see where that work goes. As long as it feels good, then we're working those finer muscles along the spine, giving them a chance to grow, if you will. Let's come out of that. Take a deep breath here. I'm going to rub some spleen and stomach points, neurolymphatic, kind of moving through. We're kind of in that earth time. So under your left breast, kind of give that, just that little circular. It kind of looks like this. Under the left. The liver would be on the right. So this might look like left from the way you're viewing it. Or it might look like the right, but this is the left. And that is a stomach neurolymphatic, different from the meridian points. And then the spleen neurolymphatics, remember the endpoints are here. The neurolymphatics are right here. So they're just right in this area. So I'm going to give those just a little rub there. And another thing to do for these spleen points is make those figure eights with the end point and the neurolymphatic points of the spleen. The spleen works extra hard for our entire system, as does our triple warmer, our fight, flight, freeze. But the triple warmer is like the general and the warrior. The spleen is like the nurturer, the mother. So when triple warmer needs energy, it typically steals it from the spleen meridian. It can take it from any of the meridians other than the heart. Spleen is its first go-to. So that's why it's really important to keep these points working, and that's why we trace our spleen meridian as well. So let's come back down to our lying position. We're going to go into a twist, and then maybe a little happy baby before our final relaxation. Then I'll do just a brief eye yoga for you for the ending today. So with knees bent, let's extend one leg. I'm drawing my right knee into the chest. If available, you can reach behind the knee crease, gallbladder and bladder points back there, good ones to hold. We open the arm wide and draw that leg across. It should feel good. If it doesn't, shift your body so that it does, or completely come out of it. We never want to go into something that hurts. You know your body more than anybody. So you have to listen to what it's telling you. Deep breaths. Unwind. Both feet down. Shift the hips a little to the left this time, or right, whichever one you head in. I'm bringing my left knee in this time. Fingers behind the knee crease, if available. Draw across the midline and breathe deeply. Come back center. Shake out the hands. Shift the hips back to neutral. Draw knees into your chest once again. Give yourselves a hug of gratitude. Deep inhale. Exhale, blow out the candle. Again, inhale, exhale. That blowing out the candle breath. Once more. And parting the knees, flexing through the feet, either reaching somewhere between the knee and the ankle, or if available, the outer edges of the feet. For happy baby, maybe pressing that point of the balls of the feet between second and third toe. That first point of the kidney meridian, the wellspring of life. Draw downward from the balls of the feet, drawing the knees toward the armpits, releases the low back. And as you're ready, placing feet down, hands rest on the belly. Now, if this is comfortable and available to you, maybe bringing the soles of the feet together. If you have a blanket, you can cover yourself up into this reclined cobbler's pose or reclined bound angle, Baddha Konasana. Just opening here. You can also use blankets, blocks, or bolsters to help support the outer thigh here if it's too much pull on the groin. And you may just want to do one side at a time if that is too much on your inner thighs. Lots of different options. Slowly prepare yourselves for your Shavasana, final relaxation. And I will guide you through a little eye yoga for the first minute or so. So So you just lie back and relax and just listen for the next minute or so. So with the eyes, look as far up toward your eyebrows as you can. And if that kind of hurts or gives you a little headache, you probably need this. Keep it from eye strain. We're spending a lot of time on computers. Then come back to that neutral gaze. And then look all the way down as far as you can toward your chin, toward your chest. Breathe. Come back to center. Then gaze as far as you can to your left, like you're looking at your left ear. Breathing in the nose, out the mouth. Return to center. Gaze as far to the right ear as you can. And return to center. Now think about the diagonal direction. We're going to go as far up to our upper diagonal left. Back to center. Lower diagonal right. And center. Then upper diagonal right. Center. Lower diagonal left. Taking your gaze back to center, think about the face of a clock and just roll your eyes 3 times clockwise and then 3 times counterclockwise. Gaze ahead, look up toward 12 o'clock. Over to 3 o'clock. Down to 6 o'clock. Up to 9 o'clock. And then return to 12 o'clock. Back center. Let's roll 3 times counterclockwise. 3 times clockwise. Vigorously rub the palms together, and hopefully you're lying down or in a relaxed position in your chair. Place the palms over the eyes and take the next couple minutes to just completely relax and integrate your practice today. Bringing your awareness back to your fingers and to your toes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and let it all out the mouth. Rolling to one side, coming to seated as you're ready. Let's take our hands out with the palms facing up. Create that heart and place it in our heart center, bringing that love inward where we need that. Love is an inside job. Life is an inside job. Remember that moving forward. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I will say namaste here. I also would like to get some feedback on whether you all want to practice on Christmas Eve, and if so, if you could do it earlier, anywhere between 9 or 11. So if you could just send me a message or on our private page, give me your opinion, that would be great. Hope everybody has a great day and get outside, get some of that vitamin D. Namaste.